Good evening, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Byron.
Oh, introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Paul Bamber. Nice to meet you. I think Byron just pulled up. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have it before we get started. And
I was trying to think somebody who wanted to do. Do you want me here?
that's fine. We're not comfortable.
You'll be able to speak my phone. It unfortunately doesn't camera angle, but yeah. we can
Okay.
Oh, here we go. We have warmed down for sure.
Uh,
Hi, guys. Oh,
Hi, Byron.
so we're gonna get started immediately now. This is gonna be the guest facility.
Well, it's okay. You let them settle.
We'll regroup after Dr. Kazmi leads us. But in any event, welcome to the March 25, 2026 meeting
Hello.
of the Lower Makefield Township Human Relations Commission. Today we are pleased to have a visitor, Dr. Seema Kazmi, is the chair of the Bucks County Human Relations Council. All right,
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I first want to share a little bit about the Bucks County Human Relations Council. The Bucks County Human Relations Council is dedicated to promoting the value of diversity and addressing discrimination based on age, race, color, gender, religion, creed, culture, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, ancestry, national origin, and disability. And it was established in 1996 by the Bucks County Commissioners. And all members of the council are appointed by the Bucks County Commissioners, and they serve terms of 3 years. So what I first want to start off is the reason why councils and commissions like this are so important is so that people know that there is an entity that cares about them, that will stand up for them, that fights for them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing lawsuits every 6 months or so, but the fact that you're here and we're here lets your residents know that there's an agency or somebody they can reach out to for help. There are unfortunately laws in certain states in our country where they're trying to dissolve commissions such as this. So it is so important for commissions like yours to remain standing and viable. And I also want to share, people think that it's not going to happen to them, that it happens to somebody else. It's not going to happen to my child. It's not going to happen to me. But there is a time when you're going to need somebody to help you, somebody to be your advocate. And that's why these types of organizations are so critical. Also, this month, March, is Women's History Month. We've had a number of notable women come out of Bucks County. I'm sure you all know of Pink, the singer. Also Pearl Buck, a very famous human rights and civil rights activist, also from Bucks County. And we also had a Miss America. She is in pharmacy school, and her name was Dr. Schreier. And I think her parents they still live in the county, but she has since moved on to Virginia. Also this month, there is Holi, which is celebrated by Hindus. And that is the Festival of Lights, where you come from darkness into the light. And another thing we try to do at the Human Relations Council is celebrate all the cultural holidays. It makes people know, that they're being seen and that their culture is being celebrated. Also in March, we had St. Patrick's Day. And also we are concluding on Ramadan, which is a holy month by Muslims, where they fast from sun up to sundown. And I was recently invited by Governor Shapiro. There are about 40 of us that were invited from across the state for a Ramadan dinner at the governor's residence in Harrisburg. And there are pictures from that on our Facebook page. the Bucks County Human Relations Council Facebook page. And for iftar, we had tandoori salmon, roasted vegetables, potatoes. We also had lentil soup as well as bean curd pie. So really a variety of dishes. And the governor discussed with us issues important to Pennsylvanians as well as the Muslim community. So I was very honored to attend on behalf of the Bucks County community. That being said, I think it's very important that whatever issues that your residents may have, that they have this entity to reach out to. We've handled cases anywhere from somebody who needs a handicap space at their condominium neighborhood. It could be as simple as, some things that go on, as you've seen at their school board meetings. So just people know that you guys are there, we're here, as a resource is very important for the community. But I'll take any questions you may have or anything you want to state.
Yeah, well, I know you have your own meeting soon, so I did want to, in a few minutes, just letting you know that we're on the new side. We've been around for less than 2 years, and we're focusing now on trying to get the word out in our township because we are here. And we have linked your council's website to our page, and we're hoping you guys will link us to your listing.
Yes.
I did speak to, was it Mary Gonzalez? Your council about the possibility of arranging a meeting of the various township commissions so that we can get together at some point and I guess share thoughts about how we can do our job better.
Yes. As I mentioned, commissions like yours are very important in the community. So people know that there's a resource for someone that they can reach out to. Like people should not feel that they have no one to reach out to at any point. So it also stated in some states in the country, they're trying to dissolve commissions like this. So it's very important that, we are solvent and we are viable, like, and the community knows. But definitely, we actually have a listing of all the township commissions on our website. Certainly, I think we have added yours. If not, it will be added soon. But there's like Bristol, Langhorne, they have a Facebook page. I don't know if you guys made a Facebook page yet.
Sorts of things we're talking about and working on doing. Today I think we're going to talk about a brochure, for instance, that we put together. So does anyone else have any questions?
Do you mind if I take a photo in front of them? Okay, are you able to take the photo? Okay. Do you want me to come in the back?
Over here.
Okay.
Trying to think what would be better. This table is an inconvenient spot. Is it okay if I take it like this?
Oh, so that light set. Look at the light set. That's fine. Fish down.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Byron, just move into the TED. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna get one closer.
Thank you so much for coming. We look forward to sharing information and big resources.
So I have a question. What is the level of microphone? What is the level of involvement that you see in more local municipal HRCs?
Some I'm going to also talk offline, but some have been inactive and some are trying to activate. So it comes from a range. We have some that are defunct, unfortunately, in the county, and some that are still active. So we're trying to prevent commissions from becoming defunct and inactive.
Right.
There are various issues why that has happened. But that is a separate concern. But the main thing is, promote diversity, promote, people's different cultures, make sure people are seen and that they can come to you with any issues that they're having. And then you provide them with the resources they need. So specifically in our charter, we provide victims of hate crimes with resources, as well as folks who believe they've been victims of discrimination.
Okay, thank you.
Just, I know you need to leave, just a simple question. The last thing you mentioned was school boards, and what I've been watching is a lot of people are concerned about what people say. But the truth is, this focuses really on what people do, it's on their behaviors. Do you do anything if you pick up people who complain about somebody said bad things to them or said racial things to them?
So our particular organization is a council, so we cannot take legal action. Commissions have that authority. However, we can refer people resources to help their child or their situation. Mediation is also something that can be looked at, but depending on what's written in the statute in your commission, I have personally reached out sometimes in some instances to superintendents and had some conversations with them, offline.
About offensive comments and.
Complaints or things that have occurred. So also maintaining those relationships are really important. That's why it's important for folks to know, you're in the community, when people have those issues. But yeah, I have spoken to some superintendents offline.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Yes, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Our meetings are 7 o'clock before 5 days of the.
All right, we're going to make sure one or more of us attend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, their meetings are kind of at the same time as ours.
Where are they at?
They're remote, they're virtual.
Oh,
We
We
just
should say
figure out.
it's a council as opposed to a commission.
Right, so
They
you're-
don't have the authority for me to.
On the other hand, they have the backing of the county.
Mhm.
So they are on the county's website and they have the ability to, I mean, it's definitely not, they don't have an ordinance to enforce, so they're not a commission. That said, they can actually do more things in the nature of lobbying and advocacy. So I think theoretically, there's situations where we might be able to
I move to approve the minutes
do I have a-
from February.
Seconded.
All right, all. Last meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved.
So outreach has been taken multiple times in multiple forms, but I haven't heard that we've received anything yet. So if the commission wants to take it upon themselves to do some in-house recruiting, that's always welcome. But as an office, we're still trying to outreach. I just haven't heard anything from Katie, and usually those go to her.
Have been in social media.
So it was posted, and I know Supervisor Grenier shared it. Maybe some of the other supervisors also shared it. I know it was circulating, but again, nothing substantial has come back to me, and I monitored the pages. I can double check with Katie tomorrow if anything has come into the admin email, but I'm sure she would have told me if such. So at this point, nothing yet.
Is there amongst the group, any thought about whether it might be advisable to contact, Yardley High School, like counselor or principal, and ask whether there might be an appropriate way to have
Yeah.
maybe a teacher who's involved in social action
Mhm.
type to recommend? Does that seem to make sense? Or any other thoughts about?
How do they, to reach out? Well, I mean, Pensbury High Schools obviously were recruiting from. Do they?
Yeah, so my understanding, which I think Melody communicated last meeting, was that her mom saw the post that we had made on Facebook and reached out to the township. So that was the plan we were going with this time.
It was actually a post I made in Lower Makefield is a great place to live. The township one.
Okay.
I think you're right that Supervisor Grenier
Did share
in
it,
there.
yeah. Maybe there's, I don't know, been no interest. So again, if there's some effort in-house that everyone would like to take in some capacity. I used to have a contact at Pensbury High School, used to be a substitute teacher, but not much anymore. She retired. And I've graduated a while ago, so yeah.
Appointed by specific supervisors, were we?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Each individual wasn't sponsored by a separate supervisor?
No, so there was the interview process. They had us come up. I actually, funny enough, before I started working, had an interview in front of the supervisors as well. Somehow it landed me a job. So, but yeah, so and then they voted on who they wanted to appoint after. It was a whole summer of interviews. But yeah, and I think they did it to fill. So however many they needed to fill the commission. Yeah.
So then we all are, I don't want to say charged, but we all should consider it, within our purview to do some in-house recruiting. Should any interest be brought to your attention, Kelly, or how?
Yeah. The email associated with the online outreach is admin@lmt.org, and I don't have access to that email. That goes to our administrative assistant, Katie. So you can direct anything to Katie or to myself. It'll all come back to me at one point or another.
Who should we be looking for?
So the ordinance states that it has to be a Pensbury High School, well, a student that lives in Lower Makefield Township enrolled in a high school program. Now, if they are a sophomore, they have to be between 15 and 18 years old. If they are a sophomore, they can go into the junior year and then elect if they want to be reappointed, similar to Melody's situation. If they are only a junior, they are only allowed that 1-year term because they cannot go past their senior year. Yeah.
But freshmen are eligible as well.
If they're 15 years old.
Okay. And homeschool students or private school, Catholic school, if they live in the township
Yes.
and they go to a high school.
Enrolled in a school program. Yep. Yeah, no.
Although I imagine the majority of the students.
Yeah.
Go to Pensbury.
But you'll have to watch out for Yardley Borough because, there's several students that live in Yardley Borough and it's not included. So just be mindful.
Lots of
Yeah,
Pensbury that don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Very good.
Yep.
So we will work on that. In terms of staggering off. Go up first.
Yeah, I think last time both Tara and I said we would be willing to, because, you and Amanda are chair and vice chair, so that doesn't make sense. So we were both, I think, willing to do that.
talked about, it would have to be 2, 2, and 1, because we have 5, and then we have two alternates. So that we'd have to get at least the regular members off in the staggered terms, so that the new ones could come on. And we also did talk about it being perfectly appropriate for someone who would be coming off to request to be put back on as well. But without having to be here.
Is there any way that you can get that in writing and then I can ask, is this something that we need supervisor approval? Does this need to go to the board and be on an official agenda? This is just an idea that the HRC had and
No,
we want to,
we'll put it in writing and do that.
yeah,
But the concept would be for us to put in writing our recommendation, whether or not they choose to act on it.
okay,
It's up to them.
Yep.
They're elected officials.
yeah,
But we'll request them to do it because that's how ordinance reads. So it really wasn't done in accordance with our ordinance. And I do think it's our job
mhm,
to let them know,
Yeah.
and certainly recruiting a student that's also in the ordinance.
Yeah.
And important.
yeah. So whenever you get that to me, whenever you'll
Okay.
Yep.
That's what we'll have.
And I can
that idea as a goal.
pass it along.
Any other questions about that? Okay.
Well, don't be too impressed.
All right, well, let us know why. Tell us.
Great job.
Tell us.
Well,
tell us
most
we-
of it I copied from somebody else,
Yeah, well-
so.
So what can you tell us about what you're working on here?
Yeah, so most of it I took directly from, I guess it was Montgomeryville Township, I believe. A couple of their things didn't seem to go exactly with our ordinance, so I took them out. And I added a few other things, like where they're talking about what should you do. I added submitting an inquiry form. But mostly it's almost exactly the same. I will say it's quite wordy, which, I mean, sometimes that's a good thing, but I don't know if it's going to be a fun read for people.
Okay, but this would be posted on our site.
Yes, and hand it out if we table somewhere, something like that.
Okay. And we could put, I see a brochure stand out front. It's getting lots of action at the township building. And I see there's a blind spot for a QR code, but
Yes,
we would,
because
yeah.
Kathy was talking about putting that on there.
and so someone would be able to use their phone, and what would pop up on their phone, the brochure?
So I would imagine our website that has the inquiry form and the complaint form.
Okay.
We should also, once we finalize this, link this too on the website, right, in the flyer.
Well, and I did start a flyer as well, but there's a lot less room on a flyer. So I kind of had to pare that down and I wasn't sure what should be put on there compared to what shouldn't be. So I guess really, I don't think we should do it here during the meeting, but if people have at some point want to read through it and if you want to pare it down a little bit, I'm fine with that. Just strike out whatever you think doesn't fit us specifically, or if you think there's something missing, especially in the what should you do, since our process is a little different from theirs. I think we should definitely go through that at some point.
All right, well, do you want to do that now, or do you want to?
Well, I mean, it's up to you because reading through it and going through is quite a lot, especially the backside.
Okay. Well, I would certainly what you should do.
Oh,
I also, in my first read, I was actually attracted, and maybe because it's because of my profession, but I was attracted to the examples of discrimination bullets, and I thought it was worth just talking about whether those were the if we're gonna have 3 bullets, which seems reasonable,
Yes.
whether those should be the 3, whether everyone is comfortable.
So I
with
did
the-
change the third one, because somebody had mentioned that, 2 of them seemed race related. So if I just changed it to a disability, if you don't think that was appropriate, we can always change it, of course.
Well, I think it's worth discussing. I'm not, there's none of these that I just think we should change. I think we should focus on whether we're giving examples that are inclusive enough. That said, it's tough because we actually have so many classes that, so we have 3 brochures just dealing with all the possible types of claims. Hey, how are you? And we just got finished talking about you. We'll circle back to that. But welcome.
Thank you.
We are actually now, just now talking about the brochure that Amanda drafted. Do we have another copy?
Just leave them there.
You got one?
Perfect, thank you.
So dealing with that third bullet that you pointed us to.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that's perfectly reasonable. Remember, we're talking about discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodation. It seems like we got a couple of employment and 1 public accommodation.
Got it. Okay.
Not necessarily housing. So if we wanted to have one in housing, it would be an example where, you know, someone seeking to, fill out a rental application might have been told that they're only, that they can't fill it out in, because of their race or ethnicity, something like that. Would have to be a
Okay.
little more specific. I think the second bullet point, just as a practitioner in this area, is actually a little hard to follow I think it might be hard to follow for the average public because the issue there is really actually kind of complicated. So, and you referring that to race as a racial issue,
Sure.
and it's as much a religious issue
Mhm.
as a cultural and
makes
ethnicity issue, but it's really a question of accommodation. So for instance, and it's covered in the question, you would think a classroom aide would be able to have dreadlocks, right? So I think it's covered in
Well,
there.
and I don't know if the Crown Act just went into effect or when it's going to go into effect, but I would imagine it's probably
It
affected
was
by
approved.
that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It hasn't been signed yet?
I thought it had been, but maybe
Okay.
not. Is the third one telling inappropriate jokes? Is that in the purview or?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
it is, but so inappropriate, the issue is harassment and hostile
Oh,
work environment.
Yeah, and
So
because of the workforce.
The art in that, like the legal art in that, Byron, is an inappropriate joke is rarely going to be considered a hostile work environment as opposed to pervasive behavior. Although it is possible for an inappropriate joke to be so inappropriate that even a single one is actionable. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, those were my thoughts. We should carefully consider whether we have done a good job of giving examples. And I don't think.
Generally, they're pretty, being an attorney who practices, I've seen the way you think, even just from the few meetings, and you're thinking really deep into it. I think most people so situated, it happens to them, they're not gonna think as deep as you're thinking
Okay.
about it. So I mean, I like these, and rather than spend a lot of time making sure we cover all the bases, because we never will. I mean, none of these stand up to, legal analysis. I think people get the point. My opinion.
I'm sensitive to what Stan said, and wanting to do something more directly related to housing, since that's such issue. I also think the first one is such a hot button issue. It's Donald Trump in the room kind of thing. I think that we may not want to lead with that one.
So this is the public accommodation one. So this could be, I mean, it's hot button because it's the essentially the gender assignment, concept. Is that, that's
Yes.
right? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a matter of-
I think it should be on there. I mean, I'm not going to fight for it to be first, but I think it covers both gender identity and potentially sexual orientation. So yeah, I mean, my vote is to keep it on there. I don't really care which one is first. I don't think we can make decisions based on what's going to be offensive to certain people in the community, like unless it's intentionally we're protecting people's rights.
If I may ask, do we know if there are any dining establishments within the township that do have single gendered restrooms with locked keys where you have to ask staff for keys?
Well, that's a really good question. So,
I think addressing gender identity is
Yeah.
important.
but
Is the example relevant?
right, so
Hmm.
the answer, and I think what you missed is that the majority of this brochure has been lifted from
Right.
Montgomery Township. Now, the question is, do they have any? But that's an interesting approach. So if we're giving an example that's like completely impossible in our own township, then maybe the lack of accommodation. But
I don't think it has to be a single stall doesn't have to be named on it. I mean, I have personally been harassed in bathrooms that are designated one
Yeah.
thing, so I don't think it has to be, I mean, most bathrooms still are men's and women's, although, I've been dining in Philadelphia and then they're all gender. So I mean, also we're looking at space. I think we could kind of trim it down and just say, I went into the,
we could cut some words.
yeah, I went into the women's bathroom, kind of, but we still have to make it accommodation legally.
Right, I think it's wordy because they're trying to
Right.
fit as a public accommodation question, but we can make it shorter.
Yeah, because if I go into a general bathroom and I'm harassed, it's not necessarily the restaurant's at one point is it the restaurant's responsibility and at what point is it just a jerk?
These a little bit and try and circulate something. So your goal is to make it a little less wordy and then maybe look at refining some areas. So maybe
Yes,
we can
and-
work on this before the next meeting and vote on it.
Yeah, and then eventually, not right now, but eventually I think it would be good possibly to have a second brochure directly on what the steps are perhaps, because that way we can go a little more in depth. Doesn't have to be in this first one, but I know
Right.
you had mentioned maybe multiple brochures or something.
Right, and well, there's also, I mean, if we're gonna have links, so the QR code would be a code. This would be able to link us to what, Kelly, do you know, or do we?
If we set it up, we can link it to anything, but typically you link it to the website. So what made most sense to me is the LMT HRC website page.
The ordinance is on the website.
Yeah, that's found on a specific page on the website.
Yeah, and then it's referenced at the very beginning, on one of the pages, I'm like, which is the first page? Which is the first page?
This is the first, it's kind of
Okay,
printed backwards.
but
yeah.
anyway, the ordinance is mentioned. As far as the thing you mentioned.
Yes, it is
about-
mentioned on the back, right up top here. I'm sorry, this is the.
When we're saying, what should you do? Write it down. I'm reading that. If you think you have been discriminated against, keep a written record of what happened, what was said, where the event took place. That seems fair and reasonable to tell people. I think the second is a piece of advice that's practical, don't you? If you feel safe doing so, tell the person.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think all four of these are great. I think that's kind of, you should put in a brochure.
Yeah, so I
So-
think the only thing that's a little different with the inquiry form, complaint form, is there's an obvious next step where you go directly to the complaint form. I believe like our inquiry form is more of an optional.
Mhm.
thing, so I don't know if we want to reiterate that, I'm not sure, but, because like you could basically skip the inquiry form step if you believe that your case is strong enough, I suppose, or you already know what you're, looking to get out of it, but.
The document also tells them to submit a form, but I don't see where it tells them where to get the form.
On the complaint, it says complaint forms and procedures can be found online.
It says that after,
Okay.
right? So just from a construction standpoint.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. And so the concept of retaliation is actually separate from a complaint. So the point there is, and it's important, not necessarily important in a brochure, but it's important when someone files a complaint and someone is served with a complaint that they are told that retaliation is another violation of our ordinance and is improper. So they do have the protection of the law when they file a complaint. And
Under the HRC timeline, is the complainant and complainant, are those words from the statutes?
So where are you?
I'm on
Okay.
HRC timeline. It seemed like the complainee was the other person, but
This was their wording, I can
That's what I
certainly
know.
change it if
well,
that's, if
but
our
what
ordinance
Stan
is
would know,
different.
I don't know.
So complaining is not, that's a good catch. That's 100% not in our ordinance. I can, it's respondent. I looked that up. Complainant has quicker access to the ordinance than my HP can provide.
Well, while you're looking at that, the other one I was wondered about was it said, if you live in, work in, this is under how they can help on the next page, or have visited. Is this relevant to people
Yeah,
who are
public
visited?
information.
Okay,
I checked.
Visited would be, yeah,
okay, great, thank you.
I noticed that too.
Reading it now.
Well, it's interesting because ordinance does not.
It's possible employer is defined elsewhere in the code.
Okay, well, it's defined specifically for discrimination statutes.
Okay.
Under federal law, state law.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's ordinance, everyone else, so, it's unusual, but yeah, maybe.
If it's not, we should amend it. Filing a complaint. We define a respondent as the person charged with a complaint.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And we send a notice to the person aggrieved.
Person aggrieved is the person making the complaint.
Correct.
What do they call?
So respondent would take the place of complaining.
But I don't see that in the definition section. I just see that down in the,
It's
yeah.
Section 2. Complaint procedure. I mean, it
Yep.
described, and the term complainant is commonly used, but I don't know if it's used in our section.
Did you say employer was not defined?
Yes, it's fine.
It is.
So-
Yeah, I have the HRC ordinance. It's in there.
So it's defined.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is here. That any person who employs one or more employees in
What
Clinton
are
Township.
okay.
Yeah.
And that is the same definition as Philadelphia has. So, my apologies. And complainant is here, it's used. So yeah, let's use complainant and respondent. That's section 12 dash. But other than that, everyone's good with giving this a once over, looking at narrowing or shortening it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you gonna?
General information brochure, it's not a legal document, getting hung up on words like respondent.
Oh, no, I think the term complainee.
Yeah.
Complaining is a bad word, I
Yeah.
agree, but let's not get too
Well-
crazy with words and the cases, it's just a general information thing. It's not, again, I'd say you're looking at it, from your legal perspective. The average person who's had a bad guy offend him isn't gonna be looking at it the same way.
Well, Byron's the one that asked the question about complaining.
No, I mean, it's a bad word, I was saying general,
Yeah.
parse it.
Well, I would be comfortable with it as written. I just think we should also maybe make it a little better. And the scrivener herself thinks it might be a little word.
I think he just doesn't want to spend 6 months on it like we did the other form, so. I mean, I think if we're gonna cut anything, I think the retaliation thing, I think like you were saying it is part of the ordinance. It may not need to be on the brochure. I also think there's the explanation of mediation, I think is a little much. I mean, our mission statement is long, so we need to have it in its entirety. So I think if we're going to cut places, that's where I would suggest. I mean, like Stan, I think to some extent we could go with it today, but we want to also be happy with it. And
I'll admit, I cut something else. I don't remember what it is. The QR code, this seemed like the things to put on there, yeah.
But you're going to increase the font size, right? So we're
Well,
gonna fill the space.
So,
What
yeah,
do we do?
of course. In fact, this was already getting a little tiny, and I thought that might be problematic for some,
For someone
people who
like
can't
that.
read it.
That's now wearing glasses, so yeah, I
Exactly.
know, I have a lot of trouble without these, reading the sorts of things you find on brochure stands.
My vision is falling off
Yeah.
the last 12 months. I get it.
And we want it to be very legible since that's part of what this is.
Okay. So are we comfortable waiting a month, or do we want to ram this through today?
no, I think we're comfortable waiting a month,
And we can
right?
do that, and let's work, and we'll work on it.
Okay.
So then circling back, Tom, we had talked about, approving the plan which we would submit through to.
Yeah, because you were all appointed at the
to
same
request
time.
Staggering,
Yep.
And also to request action to get us, new student representative.
Yep.
That term's up.
I've already asked the township to advertise for the student representative, and that should already be done, right? Great.
And apparently hasn't gotten a lot of response, so we talked about using our own, resources to try and generate some business back for Kelly, on that. But as far as a staggering, plan, would it be beneficial for us to vote and approve a plan that we would ask you guys to vote on? Or is that?
It's up to you if you want to like formalize with a vote. I mean, if you have a plan to put forward, that always makes it easier. It doesn't put the board in the position of saying who gets a 2-year and who gets a.
Right, okay, so then we will do that. And I know we're not all here, but are you guys comfortable doing that today? Or do you think that should wait another month as well?
And it can be as easy as everyone saying, we don't have a strong preference, so let's just randomize it.
We talked about how we would do it, but we talked about that 20 minutes ago. and
Yeah.
Some people aren't here yet. So out of
Yeah.
courtesy to them, we should wait another month.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fine because Tara weighed in last month and, she said out loud that she was okay with it. I don't think we're like saying, Tara, we're going to push you off.
Then I think we can put together a vote. I think we'll put together a motion, I should say.
Sure.
And let's just talk it through, where we would request the supervisors to implement, implement a plan to stagger
Yep.
the terms, such that the first 2 regular members would come up at the end, when their terms actually expire in 2027. Yeah, it's this spring. It's September 2026. So the first 2 that would cycle off would be Kathy and Tara, who served already as chair and vice chair. The following year, Amanda and I would cycle off.
I just want to make a comment, as we've been through this is much more legal than I expected it to be. And to lose you would be a problem.
Well, maybe someone better will come on.
It also doesn't mean we're gonna lose him.
Yeah, because I can come back.
The wonderful thing, when your term expires, if we don't dismiss you, you get to keep sitting up here, or we can reappoint you to a new sentence.
So
Yeah.
as a legal person, I can tell you that I am concerned that we have an ordinance that requires staggering and
Yes.
hasn't been done.
Yeah.
So we should tell you that.
Yep.
And you'll do what you want. But as far as let's choose when we come up,
Yes.
I think that, so in
Yeah.
September 2027,
And all of the terms currently expire in everyone was appointed through 2026?
correct, we were all appointed for 3 years on the same day.
Got it. Got it.
So that's why.
Yep.
So then Amanda and I would come off September 2027.
Yeah.
And Byron and the two alternates would come off, Paul and Victoria's, the Shredder, would come off the following year. So that would be, and again, it would be our motion, the motion would be to
Yeah.
request that the supervisors implement that plan. If, you know.
So I'll ask that this get put on our next executive session, which would be the 15th of April, because we don't have a meeting on the 1st. What we may do is get back to you and say, we're not going to amend the existing terms. What we'll do is we might do a reappointment for just a year in September, right? So reappoint you guys to a year and then the remainder to just a partial term of 2 years. And then that would start the rotation in that mechanism.
And then however you can best accomplish getting our terms.
Yeah.
You know, put in accord with the ordinance.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, so then you've caught up on what we were. gonna do
Perfect.
for
I'm
this
very
year.
sorry to have been late today.
No problem. Okay, we also had a visitor from the Bucks County Human Relations Council. Dr. Kazmi came and made a presentation to us.
Is that a motion that needs to be
Yeah, so-
carried through?
Okay, and for the Saturday plan, that I.
As previously described.
That I raised this in.
Is that, you started the motion, so then Byron seconds it? Is that the turn of events?
Fair enough.
I wasn't recording. I don't know if he formally.
I believe you did.
It was.
Yeah.
You're right.
Very well.
Okay. I'm getting this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any discussion on, any further discussion on that, or should we put it to the vote?
Vote.
Okay, all in favor of the staggering plan?
Aye.
That passes, and we appreciate your assistance with that. Okay, we can move to, any new business? Anything come to anyone's attention, anything else they'd like to discuss? Nothing, okay. I would, and then, if there were public comment, I would see that with chat.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody had called in, you would have let them in. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, I would like to mention something. I realize this is a little late, so I completely apologize. The paper newsletter, the township newsletter that you get to your doors, will be going out and published on June 1st. Content for that is due in the middle of April, and it's under my purview now to collect. So if there's something that the Human Relations Commission decides that they would like to be printed in the paper newsletter as opposed to something a little less timely or not timely, that could just go in the e-news, and you feel it would work better in paper news, please let me know.
Okay, and we would need to get you something by mid-April.
So I have to send it to the publisher April 15th. I asked all of my department heads a month ago if they could get it back to me by April 8th so that I can give them a little buffer and for myself to be able to compile it. But whatever works for you guys, I'm going to give you guys some leeway because I haven't mentioned this.
Big space.
So all it would need to be is just words, however long you want it, and like a title. You don't have to fancy it up. You can add pictures if you
Do we have a
want.
space, I mean, how much, is this like a classified ad?
I got something from the LMT seniors that was a whole page. I got something from finance that was 2 pages, just about restructuring. It could be as long or as little as you want it to be, depending on the nature of the content. Yeah, and then that's up for you all to decide.
Okay, and this is printed?
It will be, yeah, it will be published on, so the turnaround time is kind of unfortunate because we have to get everything in 6 to 8 weeks before it goes out. So it's technically like going out in the summer, but I'm sending all of this information mid-April, so yeah, it has to line up.
Selection of prior newsletters apparently is nil. Are we talking about like an 8.5 by 11?
Yeah, it's like a magazine, like a standard magazine size, yeah. They're generally like 25, 30 pages, if that.
Something like that? To announce our existence and.
So it was published in an original edition, maybe 2025. It was a little late.
Is that something you could get your hands on?
I think it,
That and send it around? to us?
yeah, so all of the newsletters are available on the township website under just newsletter, and then there's a tab for e-newsletter. So newsletter, you'll be able to find all of the paper editions that go out. I believe it was a 2025 edition because I don't think anything happened in 24.
So we'll try and locate what was posted before, and maybe search.
Yes. And there were only 4. They happened quarterly. So I think it was one of the 4 in 2025, maybe the first or second edition. Yeah.
If you have a working draft near the deadline, Kelly, would you be comfortable condensing important parts of this down to a single pager?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can assist however you
If
need it.
nothing else, I don't mean to take your,
Yeah, but I'd like to see what we did in the past.
It was just a blurb. So Monica was the one who was handling it. She asked me to just give something, just to show that the HRC was established. And I think I might have just provided the mission statement and like 1 or 2 supporting sentences. So it wasn't here. Do you recall? Did you see it, Byron? Yeah. So it was only like a tiny paragraph. So if there's something of more substance that you guys would like to see in there, that's up to you.
Okay. Well, I think we should probably tell folks that we have a website now and then they can come
Yeah.
join it. But all right, we'll take a look at what was done in the past and then also at the brochure.
So we won't have a meeting before
No,
that date,
we're-
right?
no.
Okay, because I was
But-
gonna say I could try to work on the flyer, but I
Yeah,
don't think I'll.
that's okay. And somehow we managed to get published before without a meeting.
Yeah, because they knew originally that I would be the liaison, so it came right from me. I said they established this mission statement very early on, and I sent it over.
Does
Yeah.
that have a problem with one or more of us working with Kelly to come up with something in there? We'll try and circulate it before it goes out and so that we're all in consensus, we should do that. Then it shall be done.
Again, I apologize for not mentioning this sooner. No. And as always, bi-weekly newsletters. There won't be a first edition in April, so nothing will go out on April 10th because the Board of Supervisors meeting is canceled. So we're going to take a little break to focus on paper newsletter material, but anything else, they resume April 24th, and then we'll be bi-weekly for as long as for the foreseeable. So again, anything that, is relevant to go in at that time.
Okay. There's been no activity with regard to any complaints or inquiries that I'm aware of, so.
No.
I would be aware of that, right? If that happens.
Yes.
And then based on what I've learned from others on commissions, that's common. I mean, there are not a lot of folks filing. I actually just in my professional life filed that ordinance complaint on behalf of a client in Philadelphia, which has a much larger commission and full-time investigators. So that's not terribly unusual, but that's where I incorrectly got the idea that we did not define employers. I don't know why, because I now realize we have exactly the same definition as Philadelphia, but to the extent that we're not going to be dealing with inquiries and complaints, and once we're organized and out there on our website and with our brochures and doing outreach, I do think it would probably be appropriate to talk about whether we should be meeting monthly as opposed to meeting less regularly and with the ability to meet on an ad hoc basis if there's a reason to. So, and that's not a motion, it's my personal view, and I think it's something that I might want to revisit with a motion, so.
What we had discussed in the brochure is timely, is to have these brochures and maybe participate in a booth. Somebody offered to help us in the Yardley Day, I think, or whatever it's called, that day. And that's July?
Yardley Harvest Day happens in September. I believe it's late September this year.
Time.
Yeah.
Has their own, though.
Ah,
It's community,
I have a table and you can have them.
all right.
community day is not a
Community
thing
was
anymore.
canceled?
Yeah.
In 2023.
Yes. But I mean, anywhere else that might, I don't know, Bucks County events or local.
Right. There's nothing about my statement about us maybe not having to meet 12 times a year. It suggests we shouldn't be active throughout the year. Just
Right.
whether we have enough to talk about and when the monthly meetings and
Ye-
can we do what we?
Stanley, the ordinance doesn't require you to meet monthly, correct?
No, I didn't.
No, I was asking.
Anyway, if there's no other new business or comments, no public.
Just one comment. It's just circling back to the brochure. Would you like to give feedback to Amanda within 2 weeks so you can synthesize them and do another version? Is that where we're, the next step?
Yeah, that's Amanda, that's a question for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's probably
Okay.
fine, especially if we might be, making it smaller and cutting down when the newsletter goes on.
And I would encourage all who do so to do it with a reply all. So that Amanda's not dealing with 7 different amended versions, let's try and do it collaboratively. Anything else? Paul, Byron?
On your topic of meeting cadence, just so you know, the Historic Architecture Review Board is also talking about, they're also, they don't always have activity. So they've recently been discussing setting standards for earlier cancellations of their meetings that line up with response periods and filing periods
Right.
of applicants. So, you know, right now they'll get a cancellation from the township within 1 to 3 days. But there's a minimum of I think a 72-hour response period in some of these things. So you would not be alone in
Right.
moving to a more ad hoc schedule.
Right, yeah, and I think the difference, the difference is some of these commission's sole job is to essentially review requests that come from the public, so there's nothing to review, there's no reason to meet. I do view at least part of our job as
Yeah.
being proactive.
Yep.
So we should be meeting, I'm just not sure it should be 12 times.
That's fair.
So, that said, anyone want to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
And seconded?
Second.
Okay, hearing no, first complaints, as I said, the meeting is adjourned, and we will, really get this, before Wednesday is over.
Perfect.
Something at the press here that I didn't yet.
Stop recording.